And thank you to Jenny. Let's talk now to Pete Walroth, founder of the charity Mummy Star, and also Dr. Anthony Cunliffe, who's a GP who has a special interest in cancer. Welcome, both of you. Pete, nice to see you. Tell our audience why you set up your charity.
Well, my wife was diagnosed with cancer when she was 22 weeks pregnant with our son in 2012, and at the time when she was diagnosed we were really struggling to find any support out there that catered for what is a very unique set of circumstances. So sadly she passed away a few weeks after my son was born, but on reflection we just saw that something needed to change, something needed to be done to to raise awareness that this does actually happen to people, and the impact that that it has on families like Jenny's.
Dr. Cunliffe, how unusual are these cases?
Well, I mean, Jenny was obviously a young woman, and so cancer in young women is very rare anyway. Cancer affects about 1 in 1,000 pregnancies, and what it highlights is that we recognise, I work for Macmillan Cancer Support, and we recognise in the UK exactly what Jenny says, that we do have a problem with cancers not being diagnosed early enough. It can be difficult for general practitioners. A full-time general practitioner may only see on average about 7 to 8 new cancer cases a year, and that's even more common cancers in high-risk individuals. So at Macmillan Cancer Support we recognise that this is a problem, and one of the things that we need to do to improve these statistics is to work with primary care, to work with general practitioners,
but also to listen to the patients.
No, absolutely.
I mean, Jenny knew something wasn't right.
Yeah, no. So what I was going to say is we need to work with general practitioners to increase the awareness not only of the more common cancers in high-risk groups, but of more unusual situations like Jenny's, and absolutely for GPs to recognise the fact that patients know their own bodies, and that if they're raising symptoms that they're concerned about that aren't going to go away, then that we need to listen to them seriously.
Pete, do you think with the message from your charity you are getting that information through to medical professionals that the pregnancy could be disguising, if you like, the cancer symptoms?
We certainly, from the cases that we see, both certainly in breast, bowel and gynecological cancers, a lot of the symptoms can, and we understand why they can be disguised by the pregnancy. But our message really to to medical professionals is to say, just give the consideration that it may be that 1 in 1,000 chance, and just to not dismiss those symptoms as just purely down to the pregnancy, or even where we have some women who've presented immediately post-birth and they've been told that it's just the body getting back to normal, so that the symptoms, say abdominal pains, things like that, it's purely down to the post-birth body, and that's like Jenny said herself, and Dr. Cunliffe, that women know their own bodies, especially if they've had children already. They know what their body is like in pregnancy, so they will know what feels normal and what doesn't.
And sorry,
I think this is the message we need to get to medical professionals, but also just to women out there that are pregnant, that just as we don't want medical professionals to dismiss these symptoms as part of pregnancy, we don't want women out there to dismiss these symptoms as part of pregnancy. So anything unusual, anything new, present to your GP early and get things investigated.
Pete, from your own experience, how emotionally your wife coping with a birth and having a cancer diagnosis, how did she take that? How did you take it?
I think her initial reaction was that overwhelming sense of isolation that I think all of us we hold pregnancy so sacred that to have a cancer diagnosis suddenly thrown into the mix, it just throws your whole world upside down. In our case, we were very fortunate that we had a fantastic team around us, and they managed to immediately switch the focus back onto the pregnancy and making sure that that my wife Maya was able to focus on the pregnancy, and that the cancer almost became the thing that was going on in the background. And that's that's a benefit of having a really good multidisciplinary team working around our patients, and that's something that we'd like to see more often.
Let me read this from NHS England. They say cancer in pregnancy is thankfully rare, but it's crucial that doctors and midwives are alert to potential warning signs, and for patients to flag any unusual changes or symptoms straight away. Early diagnosis of cancer is important for every single patient, regardless of gender, age or type of cancer, and we've launched a major new programme to test innovative ways of diagnosing the condition more quickly across the board. Let me read this text message. It's for you, actually, Pete. It's to do with your charity, Mummy Star. This charity have helped my family and I through cervical cancer stage 2B, which was diagnosed after the birth of my youngest son in March 2013. My tumour was 6 centimetres when found, and despite numerous visits to doctors and hospitals, I was ignored and was told it was just because I'd had 5 children. I'm now clear after chemo and radiotherapy. Mummy Star are amazing, and Pete himself is a man who tirelessly gives to all the mums he helps. Please say thank you to him.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on the programme, Pete.
Thank you. Thank
Pete
you very
Woolworth
much.
from Mummy Star, and Dr. Anthony Cunliffe, many thanks for your time as well.